Yeah, left versus right is way too oversimplified.
Yeah.
Where would you put yourself on a chart of like far left, far right? Like,
It's tough because it depends on what we're talking about.
okay,
For example, some people would characterize universal health care as far left, even though every industrialized country has it. I don't find that as super far left. But then you also have the spectrum of where you are in like cultural issues, and so I would say that in a really oversimplified way, I'm probably like center, far left's over here, and then I'm like just left of center.
okay. So in between center and far left.
Yeah.
So that's where I am on the right. I just took a test actually.
Yeah.
There's this really cool test. We'll put it in the description. But I didn't vote this election actually.
Wow, that's crazy.
I've never voted. Yeah.
What?
Crazy, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why?
This time around I wanted to, but Nevada, you had to like go to a specific spot. Even with the mail-ins, you had to go to a specific spot. So I was just honestly, I was lazy.
You would have voted for Trump?
I would have.
Wow, that's crazy.
You think that's crazy?
Sean.
Why do you think that's crazy? I grew up Democrat. I grew up in New Jersey. My parents voted for Obama.
Yeah, they're so disappointed in you.
No, I don't want to put my mom on the spot, but like, you know.
No, I find it crazy because again, this is my point too. There are some people who, if you're not exactly where they are, you're terrible, right? You're the enemy. That's not how I think. There are a lot of people, you sort of saw sort of the Liz Cheney, Vice President Harris alliance that demonstrated politics is about disagreeing on policy. That's fine. It's totally fine. When it gets to the foundational stuff, it's not a matter of are we just ideologically different and we can totally still engage in our democratic process, because the foundation is our democratic process. And so Trump threatening that, as I keep coming back to, is inexcusable. And I wish more people who were committed to our constitutional process would value that more and say, okay, however I feel about Harris's proposal on the enhanced child tax credit or building more housing or whatever, I still understand that she's the only one who hasn't called for the termination of the Constitution.
Fair enough. But can you agree that the left is not what it used to be from when we were growing up? That has changed?
Always, yeah. There's been a bunch of shifts.
Because I feel like I haven't changed that much since I was a kid.
Yeah, but I think a lot of what you define the left as doesn't represent the people in power. Like, this is something a lot of people get confused about. Online, engagement sells. And so on both the right and the left, a lot of times extremism is overrepresented. So then how do we know? Okay, well, we could just both be strawmanning each other constantly. Well, I say look to people who actually have their hands on power, because then you see who's relevant with our political discourse and who represents enough people that they were able to be voted into power. And so what you see when you do that comparison is Biden, for example, governed in some ways pretty progressively, but I would say in a way that a lot of people find common sense if they dove into the policy of it. I don't think most people have an issue with his infrastructure bill. If you combine his infrastructure bill and his Inflation Reduction Act, it's adding zero net to the deficit. You have all these initiatives to both boost energy production while also pushing forward the green energy initiatives, but not doing so in a way that will jolt us. We're obviously producing record oil still under Biden, and the crime plummet as a product of certain investments and the macro trends, of course. The PACT Act, veterans benefits, like his governance hasn't been super controversial, but Fox News would just collapse if they admitted that. So they have to stimulate a lot of things about, this random TikToker who, said this about some trans issue. That's what Biden's up to today when it doesn't actually represent it. And so you would say, well, how do you know that's not the same thing going on to the right? In a sense, it is. Like if anyone has ever said all Republicans are Nazis, they're probably consumed by unrepresentative extremist examples, right? Because all Republicans obviously aren't. A very small percentage would be. But the person in the highest position of power is the extremist that I'm talking about. Or Marjorie Taylor Greene is the extremist that I'm talking about. And so right now there's an extremism problem on both sides, but extremism is making it disproportionately into positions of power in the Republican Party compared to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, they did place a lot of spotlight on the trans issues this election, I noticed, especially in Cali, right? There was some bill passed there with trans kids in school, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a provocative one for people. I don't like invalidating people's feelings in general. Even though I do it a lot, but even though they're wrong about the economy and wrong about crime. But I would warn them that that's definitely one that's blown out of proportion. Like, people are convinced that that's a more relevant issue to their life than things that are so much more relevant, like structural economic things and democratic things. But on it, I think also that's another one Democrats should have better messaging on. Again, the nuance makes it a more complicated bumper sticker, but we can both respect people's rights and love people and support people's identities while also not being perceived as too extreme on issues like the trans sports issue.
Yeah. I never let politics get in the way of business for me.
Okay.
I send a lot of business to liberals, to Democrats. It doesn't matter to me. Do you let it affect your business?
My business is politics. Let me see. Do you mean
Like would you
don't go to a
would
store?
you enter a business partnership if someone was a conservative? 50-50 partnership.
Oh, it totally depends on like what it is. You
Okay.
know, if they wanted to help with our show, no.
Okay. So if it relates to your political business, then no.
Yeah, because one of the things that makes, we have the guys who work for the show in the room with us, and one of the things that makes it so worthwhile is we all believe in what we're working on.
Okay.
The mission really fuels us, because like the lead up to the election, it was the wee hours of the morning to the wee hours of the morning. Just
Right. You're with them all day.
It was brutal. And what makes that doable is really believing that this is worthwhile and that it matters. So if I had someone who is managing the business stuff but didn't believe in the mission of it, I think it would make it less worthwhile for them and me as well. But then on a lot of things, like I have a lot of I grew up in Texas, so a lot of conservatives in my family, and that doesn't at all get in the way of our family relationship.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So no arguments at the Thanksgiving dinner table?
No, and well, some arguments, but no. Since I started doing this as a job, people really avoid talking about it.
I bet.
Because most people are just sort of going through their life. They have a few things that are on their mind, but if they bring it up, I'm gonna be like, I have all these things that I've been thinking about all day that I want to barf at you. So they bring it up less, but I've gotten better too at not showing that in people's faces unless they want it to be. But I also, it's interesting, like when the first type of content that I got into doing was going to Trump rallies and interviewing people. And then even with the interviews I've done with Trump supporters, like in studios and stuff, I really find a lot of their views just reprehensible. But I also see that it's not a product of them, being evil or something. So it's interesting. I wish people could see, and we've shown this sometimes, but how we'll be debating, and it's not that there's like a genuine to non-genuine switch going on with the cameras, but it's just once you're no longer talking about politics, then I'm walking to them, out of the studio, and it's just super.
And you're friendly,
just
right?
like a really pleasant person, how you and I would be. And I hope more people can do that, but I see why on certain issues it feels like a line that can't be crossed.
I see that. No, Ben Shapiro has the same view. I saw him on George Shanko's podcast, and he was saying how within his media company, they have to share a certain view. That's why he axed Candace Owens.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
Yeah, and it really does. Because otherwise, the daily work can just, I don't want it to feel like just a 9 to 5.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.